All right, we are live. So the Mets have officially made a signing, their first big one of the offseason 2024. Luis Severino has signed a 1-year, $13 million deal with the New York Mets, and we are here to talk about it. It's the first big signing here, and hopefully first of many to come. So let's roll the intro, and we'll get this thing going. Okay, so for those of you who are watching right now, who are tuning in, maybe watching on playback, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for new content throughout the week. We have the podcast that comes out pretty much every Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but pretty much every single week. It premieres here around 4-ish on Tuesday. So the Mets have signed Luis Severino to a 1-year deal. As we all know, the Mets have a huge need for pitching this offseason. It's going to be the main point of emphasis. And as we look right now, Luis Severino, we all know last 2 years, he has fallen off a little bit. He has had struggles to stay healthy, struggles to stay on the field. But as we look at it right now, he's still 29 years old. He's coming off of a rough year, obviously. For those of you in here, make sure to leave a like on the stream, like I just said. Leave a vote in the poll of what you guys think about this signing. It's a 1-year, $13 million deal. It doesn't look like there's any player options or anything. It's just a hard 1-year, $13 million for Luis Severino. Now, personally, I like it. I think this is a really good addition for the Mets. I guess the first one, like the first domino to fall, I guess that this is like probably the best way to do it. The Mets need some insurance in the back end of that rotation. They do have, some depth starters, but those depth starters are probably currently plugged into the rotation. As what I see this right now, I guess I'm seeing this as like the McGill replacement on the depth chart. Like that's how I'm looking at it. Maybe David Peterson, because he is injured and will not be pitching for the first few months of the season. So I like it. I really think that, somebody who's overcome a lot of injuries recently. I think that, it's been tough for him, but he is still 29 years old. There's still a lot of upside. So far, we got a 2, a 4, and a 5 starter. We need ace and a 3. I guess Lucchesi could be the 6 star. Yeah, there is a possibility that if they were to bring in a Yamamoto, they might have to do a 6-man rotation, and that's probably what they're looking at right now with Luis Severino. They might actually be prepping to be a 6-man rotation, if they were to get somebody like Yamamoto, because over in Japan, they do pitch once every week. So, it'd be good to ease him in with that, but that will also help somebody like Luis Severino, has struggled to stay on the field as well, give him an extra day of rest. So that's another thing that you can consider. But again, I'm not guaranteeing that the Mets are going to get Yoshi Yamamoto, because there's tons of teams interested in that. We've seen stories about that throughout the entire day. But yeah, Jose Quintana, I guess, would probably fit into the number 4 spot. I mean, I'm seeing Sevy as a 5 right now, because he's just, high upside, low risk, high reward. It's a 1-year deal. You can't really hate it, in my opinion. It's not possible to hate a 1-year deal. The way that I can probably compare this, but it's way cheaper than it was for the Angels, was obviously Noah Syndergaard coming back from injury. He has not been the same ever since. Luis Severino came back, showed a little bit of it, but he definitely struggled a lot. But the Mets taking a bet on him, giving this a 1-year deal. Severino actually underwent Tommy John surgery the same year that Noah Syndergaard did. I believe, and he kept getting hurt, and that is that. But I'm not expecting Severino to be a key piece to this rotation. I am just looking for him to support it. That's about it. I know, there's some concerns about the innings. There's concerns about the health, if he can actually stay on the field. But when he is on the field, there's a possibility where he could pitch like a number 2. He's done it before. So I'm not really stressing about this. I don't think that this is the first of some other mediocre signings. I think that there's going to be a few frontline moves. I do think that the Mets are going to be a little bit more active on the trade market than they are in the free agent market to start it off. But that's just, my intuition. I have no sources on that. I'm just saying it just seems like there's a few assets that they can move around for the depth chart to maybe improve the roster a little bit, as opposed to a few free agency things. Hopefully Frankie Montas, Julio Reyes is next. I don't think Frankie Montas comes to the Mets. I don't think Reyes comes to the Mets. Close ties with Mendoza. That's another thing. Comfortable in New York. Sevy's done it in New York too before. So it's a nice first signing. That's all I can say. It's good. I'm keeping this I'm keeping this with optimism in mind right now. That's all I'm doing. When he's on, he's on. He has nasty stuff. He does have nasty stuff. The velocity was down a little bit last year. He lost a little bit of fastball shape as well. But he does have a great arsenal with a lot of depth into it. Great. I know he's got a fantastic cutter. The slider was a little bit back and forth last year. Heavy sinker as well. I don't know what else they could possibly add to him. I mean, he's 29 years old. But I'm comparing this to kind of like a Noah Syndergaard type of thing, where you take a bet on somebody, a 1-year deal. Severino should be the number 5 in the rotation. I do believe that. I do believe he should be. As of right now, you look at it, he's replacing Tyler McGill on the depth chart. For those of you who don't know Subway to Shea, he does a great podcast as well. I'm feeling good today, so I'm going to be very, very generous. Usually, I'm the meanest person alive, so make sure to go out check out his podcast as well as ours, which is in the description. Change of scenery might be what he needs. I mean, I don't know if it's much of a change of scenery going from a hostile environment to another hostile environment in New York, but it's different from the Bronx to Queens, like that's, it's different, as we all know. For those of you who live in the city, they can say the Bronx and Queens are completely different things. He's just switching boroughs. Just a 1-year deal. Exactly. And we've seen a lot behind closed doors so far with David Stearns. We have not really seen many things leak out. We've seen a scattered of reports recently of a few things that the Mets, they like this pitcher, they're attached to this pitcher, but we haven't really seen any consistent news. We usually just see one thing and that's it. Citi Field is at least a nicer looking hostile environment. There you go. There's your upside, and you got tons of upside with Severino, so it matches. At his best, he has been great. I think they're looking at upside here, and if you're looking at a way to reclaim, if you're looking to reclaim some talent that he's had in the past, this is the guy to go. I mean, right here, this is the type of guy to go right here. There's other guys you can take a bet on. One of my few guys that I was like preferring, I'd say, is like James Paxton. That was somebody else, another, relatively hard throwing lefty. Just has been hurt a lot, but Severino is younger. So, and only knew about his interests. Yeah. What do you think of the Vlad Jr., Manoah, Fervientos, McNeil, Parada, Vlad, and Vlad and Pete back to back. You know what? I would do it. To be honest, I would do it, but I don't know if that would happen. I think that Vladimir Guerrero wants to be a first baseman, and I don't think he wants to share time with Pete. I also think that Pete wants to be the everyday first baseman, especially for his free agency, obviously coming up. But Vlad and Pete back to back, I would not be opposed to that. Obviously, we all know how I feel about McNeil. I'm not going to get into it again. Maybe I will. Maybe I will go on another rant or something, but not right now. I think he could bounce back, but I don't trust him to be healthy. We need more depth. Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing: it's a 1-year deal. If he stinks, you cut bait. That's pretty much it. You think he would be in the rotation or the bullpen? I think that you're going to see him in the rotation. To be honest, if the Mets do see him as a reliever, I mean, listen, it's $13 million, so it looks like back-end starter money if you're looking at it. But if you do see him start to struggle, if he can't, give you an amount of innings, or if he can't give you a certain amount of innings, then you're probably going to see him go to the bullpen. But I think at this point, you're obviously going to start him in the rotation. Because, I mean, there's still openings in the bullpen. The Mets, right now, you look at it, the Mets have 2 starters and 2 relievers, 3 starters if you're including Severino right now. Like actual legitimate guys who have established that they can be in a major league roster throughout the entire major league season. You have Senga and Quintana in the rotation. You have Diaz and Brooks Raley. I'm not counting Drew Smith as a legitimate reliever. Another guy, you all know my feelings on him. I'm not going to repeat myself over and over again. Okay. So for those of you who just got into it here, can I talk? I don't think so. Let me regain it for a second. Take a deep breath. Offseason stressful, guys. Okay. For those of you who just joined us, make sure to leave a like on the stream. Subscribe if you are new. Turn on post notifications. We are going to have live streams for breaking news throughout the entire offseason. We have our podcast that goes out and premieres right here on this channel. You also can listen to it on Spotify and all those other listening platforms as well that are available. Tuesday at 4, that's when the new podcast comes out every single week. This week, we will not have a new podcast episode. We are going to have a very special video that I did let you guys know on our community page about 2 days ago. Most likely will be out on Friday, but don't rule out tomorrow. Later tomorrow. Apparent pitching god Jeremy Hefner can fix Severino. We'll see. We've never really seen them give him a high velocity, high profile guy like this who has that type of upside. They usually have just given him experienced vets and they have given him crap. But we all know my feelings about Jeremy Hefner. In 4 years, he really has not done much. But they brought him back. It seems like Stearns seems to like him. And as of right now, what I'm looking at, because it's a clean slate so far, I'm going to trust David Stearns. So whatever Stearns does, obviously I'm going to make my opinion known, but I'm going to trust Stearns in the direction that he is going. That's what I'm going to, because he is one of the young baseball minds. He has done a phenomenal job for what he did in Milwaukee and some other organizations before that. So I'm going to trust what David Stearns has in store right now. And in terms of types of pitchers that I like and types of players that I like, so far, I've liked what I've seen. I think that Severino is a low risk, high reward piece. And this is a hard throwing starter, which the Mets don't seem to bring in. So I'm good with it. Where the bodies have to... Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things that I have regarding Hefner, and I'm not even going to do it. But in my opinion, this is a good signing. it's hard to call a 1-year deal bad either way. Like that's the thing. I don't think it's possible to call a 1-year deal bad. Because if you give them a 1-year deal, I don't think they're expecting them to be a key component to it. But yeah, I like the addition. I think it's good. I'll like it even more once I see the rest of the rotation round out, of course. But look at it right now. I'm thinking of it as someone who is a back-end starter and can provide you back-end quality. And I think of it as also someone who can be a number 2 and who's been a number 2 before at his very best. And I think that it's very possible as to where you could possibly bring that out of him because he's only 29 years old, right? He is not 35 like most of the free agent signings that we have done. Who was the last guy under 30 that the Mets have signed for their rotation? It's been a while. Jose Quintana, over 30. Max Scherzer, over 30. Justin Verlander, over 30. They didn't sign Carlos Carrasco, but they voluntarily brought them back. He's over 30. So this is a good step in the right direction. They're looking younger, which is good. Would you like to grab D-Rob before someone else grabs him for low? I would let David Robertson go elsewhere. I want to see I want to see the Mets just aim younger. Like it just has to be younger. Or, somebody on the verge of their prime, whether it is relievers or starters. Starters, I'd love to see, young starters either way. And then in what's it called? In the bullpen, I'd like to obviously see, late 20s, early 30s. That's fine. That's like the reliever prime of, the whole failed starter type of term. So I'm good with doing something like that in free agency, of course. But there's tons of upside here. I like it. I'm not going to bullshit. I'm one to really be honest of what I like in players. I'm not someone who goes strictly based on results. I like to look at tools, what they can do, and what can work in this era of baseball. We also saw some reports about the Mets being linked to Eduardo Rodriguez. That's another one on the board right now. It seems like he wants to sign before the winter meetings or like at the winter meetings, which is fine. The winter meetings, by the way, they start on Monday. So maybe the Mets do bring him in. I'm not really sure. And then obviously the talks about Yoshi Yamamoto. And listen, this is how I've kind of expected the Mets to kind of do it here, where, they fill out the rest of the rotation and what they want to do, the reclamation arms, the, using their depth, looking at the prospects, whatever they're going to do. And then, of course, trading for one and signing the other. And that's what we've looked at for the front line. So if the Mets sign Severino, they sign Eduardo Rodriguez, is there a possibility they go for Yamamoto as well? Or maybe do they pivot to the trade market and try to go after Corbin Burns, try to go after Tyler Glasnow, try to go after Dylan Cease? I don't know what they're going to do. Not David Roberts. Oh, sorry. Erod. Actually, I just mentioned there. So there you go. There's my opinion. I'm not like, I wouldn't see him as my first option, Erod, but I would take him. I definitely would take him. He's a solid number 3 at best, I would say. I don't think he's fantastic, but I think he's a quality arm. Definitely not my first choice, though. Okay. Just making sure if there's any other news that came in here. Guys, we'll go I don't know, another 20 minutes. I don't want to be as live because it is only Luis Severino, so it's not like this big signing. Obviously, we'll be live for some other stuff as well. I really do not see the Mets going after rentals. Neither do I, to be honest. The only one that I can see is obviously Soto, but I think that it has to come with an instant extension for the Mets to agree to those certain terms. And it's kind of hard to do that in this whole realm of Scott Boras. So that's not going to be an easy thing to do. You're going to have a few, anybody that they do trade for, I think you're going to see a lot of, a few years of control or something. But I do think they're going to be active on the trade market. Not crazy about it, but yeah, listen, it's early, so I'm optimistically seeing him as a number 5 right now of how they're plugging it in. Basically replacing the Tyler McGill / David Peterson part of the rotation. Like, that's how I see this. And Peterson's going to be out for a few months, so maybe you see it as Peterson. I see it as like both in that same realm. Soto and Darvish, pair him with Senga and Yamamoto for the Asian connection. Jeez. / Cookie. No, Cookie's a free agent. Luis Severino has upside, but I'm not expecting much from an injury guy. And that's the reason why I got a 1-year deal. I mean, that's pretty much it. This is kind of what you've seen from, the Noah Syndergaard situation a few years ago with the Angels. Looks like your Braves will be getting Cease from the White Sox. Boy, I hope not. But you know what? He's from Atlanta. It seems like everybody that they trade for is from Atlanta because everybody has to be magically from Atlanta. Yeah, I'm not salty at all. Maybe a 6th. Yeah, there is also a possibility that they're looking to build a 6-man rotation. Montgomery next, there's a possibility. Again, there is a video coming out on Friday that was recorded before the signing was done. I actually didn't record it. It was Andrew who recorded it. And it's a pretty good video. It's pretty fun. He does this sort of thing every year where he kind of like does like this off-season simulation. So get ready for that. And you guys can let us know what you agree with and disagree. I mean, I disagree with a few things that he did in there. 6-man rotation hurts us. I don't think it hurts us. I think, if you make it interchangeable, you can. I think that, you just need depth in order for that to happen. Did you see Vlad's little brother is rumored to be going to the Mets? I did see that. Yes. I like him. I like the kid. He's not bad. Obviously, it's a little too early to tell, what he's going to be in the majors, but I like the frame. I like the swing. I see a little Santander there. I mentioned it on Twitter. I like it. I feel like the Mets are getting no one good. Mediocre Mets. Listen, I don't know. I can't tell you. Listen, I I didn't think the Mets offseason last year was good either. I mean, I put them at what was it, 84 wins? I forget. What did I put them at? I was not really positive with this team. It was just too old. Just funny, we're getting Pro's little brothers. There you go. He's only 17. Yeah. I saw that he was 16. Is he 17 now? Might be 17. So that's young talent. So, and he has that pedigree name. So, yeah, who knows? I'm not gonna rely on him to be my my next star though. But it's always good to have those young assets in the minor leagues. Major MLB pitchers go every 5 days. To be honest, I think that Senga will prefer the extra rest because, he's originally in Japan. He was originally in Japan. I think that he liked that. But David Stearns actually did mention this where he did want to see where Senga's preference was. And he wanted to see what Senga's preference was, if he wanted to pitch every 5 days or 6 days. But I think that you have to go with what your ace wants. So when we had Jacob deGrom here, he wanted to pitch every 5 days, pitch every 5 days. What your ace wants, that's basically it. Put him in the pen. I don't think that's going to happen. Think the Mets will ever consider Trevor Bauer? I don't think so. I don't think that's a possibility. So far, Mets new brass is 0 for 2, not getting Ohtani. Not getting Ohtani. Well, no one's gotten Ohtani yet. And didn't get the man from Milwaukee for manager. A manager doesn't really matter that much. If we miss Ohtani, if we miss Yamamoto, 3 strikes and we're out. If the Yankees give Yamamoto and Soto, I'm going to flip out. We'll see what happens. I'm not getting ready to flip out here. It's going to be Yamamoto, Giolito, Peterson. Do you mean Jock Peterson? Soler, Segura, Azar Hall. Oh, Robertson. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see them bringing back David Robertson, but stranger things happen. Yankees can get... They have half a lineup. Yeah. Well, listen, Judge is their guy. That's their main guy. So they got to build around him in the prime of his career. Judge is incredible. That's their guy right there. I know that Gleyber Torres has been available on the trade market. And he's actually played very well. Like, I know we kind of, he gets made fun of a lot, but he's actually played really well these last 2 years. Would I take him over Jeff McNeil? Would you? Let me know. I think I'm just stirring shit up right now. Thank you for those of you who have tuned in, if I can properly speak. For those of you who have tuned in, make sure to hit the like button if you have not already. Subscribe, post notifications for content throughout the week. Live streams like this for breaking news. And, a few times I'll have my co-hosts. Sometimes I'll be alone. See. That clown Andy Martino is all over the place. Andy Martino. Andy Martino is one of a kind. Let me tell you that. He is a one-of-a-kind specimen. Just going to make sure if I didn't miss any news, because sometimes shit flows through. We need a backup shortstop / third baseman. There is one that is included in Friday's video or tomorrow's video. That video. There is an option. I wouldn't have gone with the option that Andrew went with, but not bad. If our biggest signing is someone like Soler and say a trade for Bieber, would you be happy? I mean, sure. I love Soler. I've been wanting Jorge Soler on the Mets for like 4 years. Same goes for Jock Peterson. The trade for Bieber, I only see Bieber as like, at best, obviously he's a frontline piece, but right now he just seems like more of a 3 to me. I just don't think he's carrying you that much, but he gives you innings. What are your thoughts on it? Teoscar Hernandez? Totally take Teoscar Hernandez as well. He's a little bit older than I would like, but good profile. I like him. Yamamoto, Monty, or Erod, and rotation is complete. Glasnow, I'd love Glasnow as well. Heard the Mets were looking to trade for Randy Arozarena. I would love to do Randy Arozarena. I think he's a fantastic hitter. Big pull side power. Doesn't chase. Swings at strikes. Great profile. What do you think about a Loop reunion? To be honest, I wouldn't do a reunion with like anybody. I really would not reunite with like anybody from last team. The last team. This team was just so bad. I mean, Loop's like, I think we have Brooks Raley for that. Like we have Brooks Raley in that kind of high leverage lefty situation. But yeah. How do you feel about Budo breaking out and being the Mets 3 starter? I don't feel like that'll happen at all. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not big on Jose Budo. I don't think he's that good. But you know what? He did show some quality for us in that extended period towards the end of the season. I think that he's good depth. I just don't think his stuff is that good. But you know what? I think that as a young option, so far he has showed that he could be plugged into a spot start here and there. I think Bellinger should be on the Mets radar. I don't think so. I actually suggested him as a guy for the Mets to avoid. I'm just not giving a long-term deal to Cody Bellinger, and I've seen some stuff about him wanting like a what's it called? I've seen him. Saw some stuff about him wanting like 200 million plus. Like no, Gio Urshela, somebody I would take. Tim Anderson, Ahmed Rosario, no, thank you. Move on from that. Let's not bring back anything else. Lugo seems okay as a 4. We'll see how we'll see how he markets himself, to be honest. I don't know. I guess he wants to be a starter, but Mets probably could provide him with a starter job. Better than this bomb. Shut up, Andrew. Everyone tell Andrew to shut up. Laugh of the week. Someone proposed McNeil and Alex Ramirez to the Padres for Fernando Tatis. You probably have to take a lot more than that for Fernando Tatis Jr., but I'm fine. I'm fine moving Jeff McNeil. I think we've already established this. I like Alex Ramirez a lot. Mets reunite with Rich Hill. Did he retire? Who retired? Was it Cole Hamels who retired? I don't know. Was that? Yeah, I'm not reuniting with anybody. I try to stay away from the reunions. Dick Mountain, correct. Same person. Jonathan Diaz for cheap. So Rich Hill's still pumping it. Like if you want innings, Rich Hill's a guy that you can come in for an emergency if you need it. Rich Hill should retire. Nah, he's gonna keep going. I want to see him pitch until he's like 60. To be honest, he keeps going. He never gets hurt. He's always out there. You can count on him taking the ball every day. It might not be pretty consistently. But yeah, these names are depressing. They definitely are depressing. Rich Hill is over the hill. No pun intended. Yeah, of course. He's 44. Vegas just put a line at 34 innings. I'll take the under. Yeah, that's not even true. That is not true. I want innings. Shut up. Randall Grichuk as a fourth outfielder. Randall Grichuk's fine. 5 point. Yeah, well, listen. Again, it's Rich Hill. If you just want a guy to eat innings, get Rich Hill. So it looks like the Cardinals might get Rich Hill. Cardinals seem to want innings and not actual talent, which is unfortunate. Andrew talking shit in this chat, but he won't actually join the stream. What a bitch. Yes, we're known for calling people out here. Trying to see if there's any other news here. Rich Hill is no Julio Franco. Innings insanely important. Yeah, well, the thing is that you're giving this guy a 1-year deal. So I'm not gonna listen. If this was a 3-year deal, I'd probably be upset. But it seems like with his health history, they're opening the space to try and get Yamamoto. Because you're going to probably get a 6-man rotation out of that. Cardinals got garbage pitchers. Yeah. Not when the Reds are a team. Mets give up Little and get Brent Rooker and make him the DH. I wouldn't make that the first option, but I would make it an option, yes. Rooker, former first-round pick by the Padres, was it 2018, 2017, kind of flamed out there, and then went to the A's, had a great year last year. My dad's a big A's fan, so I know about some of these players that nobody talks about in Oakland, because Oakland's just a complete shithole right now, current situation. What do you think of our chances of getting Yamamoto? I think that if it comes down to money, the Mets, it seems like they really want him. If the Mets really want somebody, they're not going to get outbid. It all really just depends on if he wants to be a Met or not. There was a report yesterday about the Yankees saving number 18 for Yoshi Yamamoto. And the Mets are going to be retiring 18 for Darryl Strawberry next season. But to be honest, that's basically just a non-story. Guess who reported that? I'll let you guys take a guess who that was. See, if that was the case for the Mets, let's say they saved number 13 for Yoshi Yamamoto. You know, this certain reporter, as we all know, it's Andy Martino, he would say, "Oh, that's not important. That's a non-story." But for the Yankees, he's going to gas that thing up. He's a Yankees fan, folks. He's a Yankees fan. I don't understand why people don't catch on to this. He's a Yankees fan. Okay? It's not just like the full-on Yankees bias, but he tries to approach the Mets with like, this pessimism, this fake pessimism. And then you see this guy talk about the Yankees, his face freaking lights up. It's like a urban meth lab. Like that's literally his face when he's talking about the Yankees. It's so obvious. It's really obvious to read Andy Martino. We know exactly what he's doing. He does have reliable sources. I do give him that. He knows what he's talking about, but it does come with those other characteristics that are very, very fucking annoying. Seems like the Cardinals seem to get lucky with pitching. Without doubt. Can't wait for it. I cannot wait until, yeah. I don't know when that is up. Is that what is it, 2026? Andy must be mad that he is a Met right now. He's actually probably happy, actually, because he likes when the Mets sign former Yankees. He was a big fan when we got Dellin Betances. He loved Gary Sanchez. He said that the Mets should have Gary Sanchez and send Francisco Alvarez down because Tomas Nido is so valuable to the Mets roster. Yeah, he is so. We all know exactly what he's doing. We know exactly what Andy Martino is doing, what his motive is, and that is to gas up the Yankees that Cashman and Howe can't do anything wrong, and then a pessimistic view on the Mets. Dellin Betances sucked? Hell yeah. But Andy Martino liked the signing. That's what matters. So for those of you just tuning in right now, leave a like on the stream, subscribe if you have not already. The Mets have signed Luis Severino to a 1-year, $13 million deal to add him into the rotation. We'll be live. I think we'll go for another 10 minutes, guys, and then we'll probably wrap it up here. And, we'll go live for any other news that comes through, but I doubt we're going to have really anything until the winter meetings, which is going to be December 4th. And then we'll have a video out either tomorrow or the next day afterwards, which features a guy who was just in the chat named Andrew Acevedo, who's just talking shit about this deal and does not want to face me one-on-one on this stream right now because he is one of my co-hosts and he could join, but he doesn't want to do that because he's a bitch. And he will make this excuse saying he's busy or he has something to do, but no, he's just a bitch. Mets have gone after old and hurt pitchers and second-tier free agents in the lineup. Yeah, well, I want to see a little bit of a change. So far, we have seen something different. Luis Severino is not 35 plus years old. So we're improving here, guys. All right. Yes, he's always been hurt, whatever, but he's got It's your boy. What did you just walk into? Probably me calling my co-host a bitch. See? You see? You see? The excuses. This is excuses. We got Lindor, and after that, Scrubs. We never... I hope you're trolling. I never troll. I'm always very serious. Hopefully we get big signing, big trade. Listen, I've been happy so far. So I've liked it so far. Think anyone gonna take Mad Moment on a minor league deal? I think he's damaged goods at this point. Like, you're getting close to retirement. Jock Peterson for a possible DH. Preaching to the choir, my man. I've been barking up that tree for 4 years. They still haven't done it. I would love for them to do that. Look who the Rangers signed since Steve took over. Yeah. Cohen's been awful. Listen, Cohen's got a day job. So Cohen's signing the checks. He ain't working the front office. I can tell you that. He's just the one signing the checks. And listen, it's hard to realize here that, it's going to take a while for the Mets to be a sustainable winner. And, he inherited a dumpster fire. Like, let's be real for a second. All right. So they're continuing to progress as an organization. But it's hard when you have the New York media breathing down your neck. So, they're just trying to even it out, and that's pretty much it. They're trying to slowly progress. They're years behind other teams for their you know for their process or whatever. David Stearns is another piece to acquire that type of talent into the organization. Cohen needs to step in with big players. I mean, he already did. This is a Wilpon move. So no, a Wilpon move would be signing this guy when he's 37 years old, and then calling it an off season. We'll see. I agree, but you have to go get a player like Soto or Yamamoto. Yamamoto, I agree with. Soto, again, that's a wait and see. This has Mendoza's fingerprints all over it. Maybe it does. I don't know. I think that Mendoza was a good hire, so can't let a 25-year-old big talent go to the Yankees. We'll see. I don't know. 614 FIP. The FIPs? Oh, really? If you can tell me what FIP actually calculates, then I'll believe you. I will agree with you that this is a terrible signing, but I know you can't do that. Freddie Freeman, Marcus Semien, Kyle Seager, Carlos Correa, Aaron Judge, Trey Turner weren't on any of them. That's great. Listen, I'm not going to defend anything that Epler did. Okay, I'm not here to defend. I don't think he's a good GM. I never thought he was a good GM. So, I listen. Water under the bridge at this point. What can you really do? But this is definitely a good start. And listen, if I didn't like the signing, I would have told you. But I do like this a lot. I think that the Mets are really going a little bit more savvy here. And I think that that's the smart thing to do. So if we don't end up with Soto, we don't end up with Ohtani, relax. Okay. It's a name. It's a big name. Just like the same thing, the whole deal with Craig Counsell, it's a name, right? Obviously, pursue it. I definitely go after it. I'm not saying that Soto or Ohtani aren't worth it if you bring them in. But I'm not going to prioritize that, especially when you have so many holes on this roster. When you look at it right now, they have 27 players, 28, I guess if you're including Severino. So you have holes on this roster in different positions. You also have a huge hole on the 40-man roster. So they're not a superstar player away. It's just not going to happen. We'll be lucky to get anybody. Listen, if you want to go doomsday, go doomsday. I have not seen a reason to go doomsday yet. So I'm cautiously optimistic right now. I'm trusting what David Stearns is doing. And, as we go forward, it's not even December yet. As we go forward, then I'll be able to give a deeper opinion. But right now, I'm not as upset. Have we gotten anybody for our bullpen yet? No, it doesn't look like it. Nobody that it looks like is going to be on the actual opening day roster, unless you want to count bringing back Brooks Raley on his team option where it's $6.5 million. Yeah, but Soto is 25. Yeah, he is 25. But then there's also some other right fielders out there that I would also like to have. So, there's always the plan B. Again, I'm not saying they're not worth it. I'm not saying they're not great players, but If you can't get them, you can't get them, and there's a good pivot. It's just a way of where they actually pivot with it. Don't forget bringing back Drew Smith. I want to forget that. So Yamasoto. Yep. We have to overpay to get anybody at this point. Listen, if the Mets really want somebody, they will overpay for him. We could go God himself. People still have negative stuff to say. I mean, listen, I say negative stuff about this team all the time, but I have not been given a reason to yet. So every offseason gets a clean slate from me, and I see what they got working with. Right now, it's a little too early for me to go nuts at all or be angry whatsoever. So for those of you who did our poll here, it looks like about 55% of you are neutral on this. 32% like it. 12% don't like it. So we have a decent measure, I'd say. More than half are neutral. For those of you who want to enter your vote, go ahead. It's in the chat right now. But I think I angered my co-host. He's going to come in here. I angered my co-host. I body checked him. I don't know how long we're going to go here, but we'll see what he's thinking. It's a prove year, worst case scenario, he gets hurt, and we have a $13 million dead weight. Well, I mean, we had a, $17 million dead weight in Carlos Carrasco, so there's not really much to... Well, think about this, okay? Severino, here on $13 million. You also have $13 million locked up to, what's it called? Jose Quintana. So double of that is off the books. I don't know why. Oh, whoops. There we go. There you are. What's up, bitch?
This shit's ass. This is ass. Guy's cooked. Pastrami arm. Oh, he has 96 velocity. Go look at his baseball chip.
29 years old.
I don't give a shit. He's 29 or 24, 36.
I know. You love your 35-year-olds. You love your 35-year-olds.
I love guys who can be dependable. You have a question mark. You've got now two more empty spaces you got to fill. You bring in this fucking garbage man who's going to give you maybe 3 starts, and then he's going to blow out his oblique and never see him again. Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-year deal. I can't be that mad.
He's on the books. Who cares?
Yeah, you go get me better guys. Go get me better arms. And this
is
the first Stern. Do this shit.
I would be upset.
No,
I would be upset if he was 37 and they signed him. Yes, I would be upset.
I don't give a shit about the age. He's cooked. I don't give a shit if he's 25, 28, or 36.
Years old.
So, and Noah Syndergaard's 31. Oh, wow. He's ass.
Oh, he's 90 innings of crap from a return. Okay, fine. Like, what? Yeah. You're telling me that you would get a lot better from... Who would you get a lot better from? Who would you get a lot better from? Who are you going to get?
You know what? I'd go get Kyle Gibson for 1 year, $10 million. I know he's going to give me 160 innings. I need a 5-star. Yep. This is not it.
And get shelled.
No. This guy had a 6 ERA with a 6 FIP. So that's getting shelled too. At least what's it called? Sub 4.5 ERA, 15
Kyle
wins?
Gibson is 36 years old.
I don't care about age is just a number. Age is just a number.
Oh, really? Yeah, we really established that this year. We 100% established that last year. Age is just a number.
Max Scherzer
and Scherzer weren't healthy enough. That's it. They weren't healthy enough.
Stars. Both of them went to the playoffs. One won a World Series.
Yeah, because they asked for trades to the playoffs.
Nah.
They asked for trades to the playoffs.
Nah. So I don't know. This is not it for me. I'm going home. So yeah, this is not it. And do this shit in September. Do this shit in February.
Literally,
if this was in February, fine. This should not be the
literally
first
replacing Tylor Megill. That's literally it.
Look, Tylor Megill is better than this fucking guy. I'd rather have Tylor Megill start than this fucking guy.
Okay, so this as your first move. The first move needs to be the best one. They
first
signed
move
James
you make
McCann
is garbage,
as their
man,
first move. They signed James McCann as their first move 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a great signing.
It worked out so well.
Yeah, it worked out so well.
Signing too, right? First.
Who's the other first one? Trevor May.
Yeah.
This guy actually prefers.
I'm out of here. So.
This guy prefers actual just innings over actual talent. When talent is actually been proven to win you a World Series. Sounds like he wants Zach Greinke. Yeah, exactly. He wants Rich Hill too. Hey, anybody else old as dirt?
I'll take them all.
Anybody else old as dirt?
Great. I wouldn't have took Lance Lynn. I'm happy I avoided that. But I mean, hell, they had the same ERA, so at least one is 180 innings.
1 year. How can you ever be mad at a 1 year deal? I don't understand.
Because it's Yankee garbage. Because it's Yankee garbage. No thanks.
I don't
literally go sign anyone.
Okay, every single Yankee that we brought in here, are they 29 years old? Every single Yankee that we brought in here, are they 29 years old?
You're acting like 29 is 22. The guy's at the end of his prime. He's done. He's cooked. Yeah, his fastball's all he got. This guy's batting practice. Do this shit in February.
Andrew wants Kershaw too.
This should not be the first.
No. Kershaw doesn't give him innings. Can't happen. He just wants. Anybody with a pulse. He just wants anybody with a pulse out there. That's literally what he wants. He wants anybody with an actual pulse. When he has seen millions and millions of pieces of garbage on the mound for the Mets, he said, "Oh, it's okay. Let me add another Ariel Gerardo. Let's put him out there. Let's add another Tommy Malone because he gives me innings." Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, seriously, still here. Seriously, still here.
See, he's insecure now because I'm out debating him every single time. What does this mean? Does this mean Yamamoto? Absolutely not. This is a back-end piece. This is somebody who's been a starting pitcher number 2 at his best. He has proven to do that. Looks like Andrews had to go. Yeah. That was fun shit talking him for a second. If it doesn't work as a starter, you can always do a pen as a reliever. This is the thing, okay? A 1 year deal to 29 years old, it's not a bad thing. It just isn't. Andrew rage quit? Yeah, that's usually what happens. I out-debate him every goddamn time. He hates that. You see Mets signed Vladdy Jr.'s little brother. I don't think they signed him yet, but yeah, I did see that. I think we were talking about that earlier. It's Vladdy Miguel Guerrero? Is that his name? It's like Vladdy Miguel. I don't know if it's like hyphen. I don't know, but there's him, and then there's another brother. I think it's Pablo Guerrero. He's never been in the pen. Down he ends up there. I think he come in relief. I think he's supposed to be nasty. Listen, I think that you were on the same like wavelength. He was on the same wavelength as Syndergaard for a while, and then you see a lot of decline in Syndergaard, and then Severino stayed in that promising point recently. Like since the Tommy John surgery, that was like the fork in the road for both of them, and then they both went into separate directions. Obviously, Severino struggled last year, but he's still 29 years old. Like Syndergaard is 30 years old, right? And, there's no promise in sight right now. Severino at least showed some, that he's still a quality arm. Tell Andrew he needs, hey, only I can insult my co-hosts, okay? Let's not do free reign here. All right. Wasn't it you guys talking about the Pham signing? I don't know who was mad about that. I wasn't like thrilled about it, but I wasn't like angry about it. I don't know who it was. Was it me? Listen, guys, I do not have a good memory, so you're gonna have to retrace it. Is this the year we see Vassal? We'll see Vassal. We'll definitely see Vassal in the majors. You'll see some prospects in the majors. You definitely will. Wonder how Syndergaard would do out of the pen. Probably not well. You need effective stuff, and he's just not that guy anymore. He's definitely someone who's relied on velocity a lot more than a guy like Severino. Pham was a bum before last year. I mean, he's had a decent career. I wouldn't say he was a bum. He was talking bad about Pham signing. Was it Andrew? Was it me? I don't know. Well, listen, not everybody has good takes. Not everybody. Listen, we've had good takes. We've had bad takes. It's happened. All right. We always own up to it. At least I've owned up to it. I don't know. Not everybody's going to be right 24/7. Listen, it happens. I've heard whispers that Luis Acuna will make the opening day roster. I don't believe that. I don't believe that as well. I think that he's going to start in either AA or AAA. He did not do well for us in AA when he came over. But I mean, I'm not really big on him anyway. So that's that. All right, we're going to go for another 5 minutes. And for those of you who are just tuning in, Luis Severino has signed a 1-year, $13 million deal with the Mets. Should we look into Bregman? I mean, I'd obviously make a call. I make a phone call. Sure. I like Bregman a lot. He's not my first choice to play third base. Beatty or Vientos, our opening day third baseman. I would probably choose Mauricio, to be honest, over both of them. I'd probably say Mauricio. If you're keeping, if Jeff McNeil stays, if they have Jeff McNeil next year, because you never know, I would say that Ronnie would get third base. He definitely profiles more as a third baseman. He's got the frame to do it. And, he has more tools where they can probably expand that. He's still young. What do you think is our next signing? I think that they continue with the pitching. It's kind of obvious. If I were to pick our next signing, I think that comes either the winter meetings or the day before or something like that. If I had to pick it, I'll say it is Eduardo Rodriguez. Realistically, I'll say it's Eduardo Rodriguez. It's one. Actually, you know what? It's one of Eduardo Rodriguez or Jordan Montgomery. That's what I'll say. That's what I think our next signing is going to be. It's going to be one or the other. I don't think they're going to bring in both, but it's going to be one or the other. We need a Rosarena. Sign me up. I love a Rosarena. Yuki Matsui, welcome. For those of you in here, hit the like button if you haven't already. I'm going to end the stream here in about 3-ish minutes, so make sure you get your last comments in. New video coming out either tomorrow or Friday. It will actually be featuring my co-host that just joined for like a minute or two. He did a video about kind of like an off-season simulation. This was before Severino just signed, so you got to keep that in mind. But he's done that a lot on his personal channel, and we've shifted it over to the Mets Weekly channel this year. And I actually was working on it while Severino just signed. So I'll get back. I'm going to get back to work on that in a little bit. Okay, so who is our next trade? The next trade, I wouldn't say anybody specifically, but I think that they are going to trade for a starter. I don't know if it's going to be the middle of the rotation or an ace, but the next trade, I believe, will be a starter or a fourth outfielder. Yamamoto, Luis Robert's nice. See, you're speaking my language here, man. I love Luis Robert. He's great. Yamamoto, I think, is the priority, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm hoping that the Mets can balance out quality and quantity, and this has done it so far. Severino obviously coming off a really rough year, but like I said, he's 29 years old. My co-host doesn't seem to be in agreement with it, but he's a little old-fashioned. He's not that smart. Given the choice, Soto or Rosarena, or you want to wait for Acuna to throw McNeil into the outfield? Obviously, I'd start off with Soto because like Soto is like the main guy to go after. I definitely would try and pursue that. If you can't do it, Randy Rosarena is a really good pivot. Santander is another great pivot as well. I don't want to wait for Acuna because I'm not really big on him. McNeil, I'm not big on either. So I don't want to have McNeil in the outfield. I don't really want McNeil on this team anymore, but that's a different story. For those of you who have not hit the poll, I'd like to see the final number. We have about 80, 90 votes so far. Next trade, Glasnow and a Rosarena for Acuna. That would be a dream. Oh, Acuna, Clifford, and Parada. Clifford's the only one that I wouldn't want to give up because I do like Clifford a lot. But you know, if it's coming with a pitcher, a frontline pitcher, and a near elite hitter, I mean, can't really complain. Obviously, Clifford is a high potential piece. I like his power. I like the power upside. I love the frame of the kid. But that's just the price that you have to pay. Sometimes there's pieces in trades that you just have to give up in order to get what you want in return. Sevy gets hurt in spring training probably, and listen, if he gets hurt, he's gone next year. 1 year deal. For a team that needs pitching, I like the signing. Let's see where it goes. Listen, it's the first move. So there you go. This will last 1 star before he goes down for the year. Fred Flintstone, listen. It's a good idea. The Mets had the right idea here. It's a young, high upside arm. 1 year deal. 1 year prove it deal. Can't be mad at it. It's in my opinion, it is impossible to be mad at a 1 year deal. I don't think it's possible. Unless they sign some criminal off the street to a 1 year deal. I don't see any possibility where you can get upset over a 1 year deal. It's just not possible. I'm more of a term guy. So, if he's here for 1 year, he's here for 1 year. And he has the ceiling to be really good. So, he's 29 years old. Again, I said this before, if he was 36, I'd be upset. I'd be a little bit more upset. But he's 29. So there still is upside there. So, like to see Tommy Pham and David Robertson, I would not. I would let them move. I would let them go. I would let them go elsewhere. Again, I want to aim young, and this is young enough at least. This is the first starting pitcher we have seen the Mets sign under 30 years old, so I like it. Let's not forget Michael Wacha, Rick Porcello, Scherzer, Verlander. Bassett was a trade. Carrasco was a trade. addition, shall we say. Severino set for surgery March 28th. Listen, it's not going to be the key move, so I'm okay with it. It's low risk, high reward. So even if it does become a risk and it does not turn out well, the risk is low. He's gone the next year. All right, so I'm going to hop off here, guys. For those of you who are just tuning in, for those of you watching on playback, for those of you who were here throughout the entire stream, thank you so much. Hit the like button if you have not already. You can vote on the poll. I'll give you guys the final results on that. 45% are saying they're neutral on this signing. 43% say they like it. And 12% say they don't like it. That's out of about 90-ish votes. But for those of you who are in here, thank you for tuning in. Once again, one more time, there's going to be a video out either tomorrow or the next day after that. It'll feature my co-host who joined for a little bit. He's going to be doing kind of like a mock off-season, something like that. He's been doing that a little bit. He's been doing that quite a few times on his channel, so we transferred it over to the Mets Weekly channel this year. So get ready for that. It should be fun. But other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Let's go Mets. Yeah, hopefully we're back live very soon for another signing, but we'll see. All right. I don't think I have the intro here. Well, that's pretty anticlimactic. All right. Well, I'm just going to end the stream here. I'll see you guys. Oh, my God.